Hi, guys. I'm back. I'm live again. Just wanted to say hello. How's everyone doing? Let me get centered. I'm going to start by just doing a little bit of journaling. Okay, today is the 14th, November 14th. Okay, for dinner today, I'm going to make meatloaf, mashed potato, and green bean. I have everything for my green bean casserole. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. Happy Friday. I just thought I'd get back on here. I did a live last week and it was super fun and had the opportunity to just talk to everyone, answer questions. I feel like I kind of want to become a live streamer. I just really enjoy it. I love the interacting with people in real time and in real life. So I am, if you want to, hi Yuli. Let me say hi to you back. Why do I feel like I want to chat? Hi. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I recognize you from all your comments and everything. Thank you for being such a loyal watcher and supporter. I really appreciate it. I was just gonna start, it's always a little slow in the beginning. So I was like, I'm gonna just journal. So I'm just writing down my notes for my dinner that I'm gonna make tonight. After this, I'm gonna go to CrossFit. So I'm gonna do CrossFit. And then I think I'm gonna have lunch. They have a salad bar at Whole Foods. I think I'm gonna do that. And while I'm there, I'm also gonna do some returns. So I'm just writing down. Sometimes it just helps me to write down what I'm gonna do that day so that I could just keep my brain in check. And then this morning, I already packed up all my journals so that's done. Laundry is being dried as we speak. So when I come back, that will be done. Okay. But how are you guys? How are you guys? What's going on? Do you have any plans for the weekend? My favorite part of coming on these lives is kind of treating it like a Q&A. So if you have something that is on your mind or on your heart and you don't mind sharing, then I invite you to just put it into the chat. And you can share as much or as little as you want. And I can't promise that I'm going to have the perfect answer, but oftentimes it isn't even about the answer. It's about sometimes just the act of sharing itself is kind of a radical act, because it's you saying, you taking up space and you being this is what's going on for me, and being witnessed by other people is really powerful. So yeah, I just invite you guys to share and to ask a question if a question is kind of on your mind and on your heart. Yeah. I'm just eating as well. I'm always trying to time, because I'm gonna go to CrossFit at noon. So I'm like, if I eat now, can I get my energy level to the right amount of place, Mm. So I'll just start with a topic. Marvin, hi from France. Hi. I'll just start with a topic, and so there's one thing that I did yesterday that I found incredibly helpful as a small business owner. And I think that if you're an artist, you could use the same strategy as well. which is I wrote a job description for myself based on what it is that I do, and it was just a brain dump. I just opened up a Google Doc and I started writing and I put everything in there and I just started like vomiting up like all the stuff like, okay, I post on TikTok, I post on YouTube, I write in my like I do all these things, right? Hi Jenna, welcome. And so I think like once I had it was like a really messy page of bullet points. Once I had that, then I was able to like organize it a little bit. And then I instead of just being like, okay, here's everything I do, it's kind of like morbid. But I was like, if I had to replace myself as a creator and as like the founder of this business, how would I write these bullet points so that I need that person who replaces me to do these tasks, right? Because I think like as an entrepreneur, we are constantly kind of negotiating with ourselves to be like, because we can't be in all places at once, right? So we negotiate with ourselves because we're like, okay, well, I know that technically I should be doing it at this level or at this quality, but like I don't have the time or energy, so like I just can't. And I think like if I were to hire someone to do the job that I do, I would have very high standards, you know? Like sometimes with my own I'll just use an example, like with my own Substack, for example, my like blog, you know, I pretty much for the past 2 to 3 years have written consistently it publishes every Monday at 7 a.m. Pacific. I usually do it over the weekend and then I schedule it to go live. And but there are a couple times where I'm kind of like, is anyone gonna notice? Like, but then when I was writing the job description, I was like, no, this is your job. Your job is to do this. And I think what this speaks to is one of the inherently difficult things about being an artist or being a business owner is that you not only have to be the person who is executing on it and who is like doing the thing, making the art, making the what selling the whatever, right? But you also have to be the one who is managing it and who is coming up with that and then also ensuring for a high quality. And I think that like it's just really hard because you're like playing those multiple roles at once. It's like you have to be the architect and the planner, and then you also have to be the creative spirit and the muse, or at least connected to the muse. And so I found that incredibly helpful because like I think the different parts of me were sort of battling for authority, and the parts that were more creative and less structured were always like, "We don't have to do that." Like, and so there was a lot of internal tension because I was like, "Well, I know I'm supposed to do that, but I don't wanna do that." There was a lot of, like, inner rebellion happening, and then when I, like, wrote it out as like, "Okay, but this is your job." And I know it's like, a made up job, like you made this up, right? And you continue to make it up, but it's like, for now, you have to treat this like it's your job. Like the same way that someone's gonna go on a late night show and like promote their movie, like it's your job to show up and like create content and to write and to continue to like inspire yourself, even though that shit's like so hard. I don't know if you guys can relate to that. Um, but that is just something that I've been going through lately. And like, I don't have the perfect answer, but at least I am like trying to piece it through, if you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna read the comments. Everyone's just like, hi, hi, hi. What time is it? It's 10 a.m. on a Friday. Annie is like, am I almost on time for this one? You're on time. You're on time. You made it. Yeah. So Kat says, "Oh my God, I love that approach. Thank you for sharing. I also have the back and forth." Yeah, and it's just like, I just found myself fighting with myself so much, and just being like, I think what this exercise did for me too was it actually reasserted my creative self as the ultimate master, as the ultimate like leader of this. Like everything that I do is driven out of a creative impulse. And then I believe that creativity is like I believe that in order to be like sustained and actually to be successful, you also have to put in the work. And that's where like the discipline comes in. And that's where like the scheduling comes in. And that's where the like, okay, you said you want to have a YouTube channel, then you need to like post on YouTube. You know what I mean? But ultimately, like, why did I start the YouTube channel? I started it to have a creative voice. Like, I never started the channel to like make money. That's the last thing that I'm like, that's not even happening really, you know? So I think just like writing out the job description and seeing it in black and white like really helped me to be like, okay, remember, you architected all of this. You were the one who decided to do this. And so now there's just the executor part, the manager part that's coming in and being like, okay, you said you want this. Well, then it's going to require something. It's going to require a certain amount of discipline and work and putting your head down and doing it. And that's not fun. That's not as fun as creating, right? That's not as fun as ideating. It's like actually doing the work, actually showing up. Like shit, that's really hard. Um, Marvin says there's something that's something I need to do too. I'm a game artist, but I want to touch so many aspects of the game dev journey. Yeah, I think like I think it's that we want to be so many things and like I just think also the nature of entrepreneurship or like the nature of like living a creative life or like a creative business is that you are doing so many different things and it could be hard to remember like the impact of what you're doing because you're just like, oh, today I'm just posting this like thing on gaming and it doesn't fully capture or like doesn't fully um encompass like all that I am and all that I'm interested in and it feels small compared to what my vision is or what my semblance of a vision is. So that can be really hard. So I think just like putting it into perspective for yourself and being like, okay, how does this piece connect to that piece? Right. Um, so highly recommend writing out your own job description. It is like, it is such a good, it honestly kind of changed my brain. Um, because it's like, I think as entrepreneurs, like we want everything to matter, you know? And if we feel like we're wasting our time, it can feel really difficult. And so like having your everyday action match an intent and being able to see how like, oh, what I'm doing right now is part of this puzzle. I also organized my different like tasks into different categories. So I had like top of funnel, which is like brand awareness essentially, which I think in early stages of entrepreneurship is like so important because you could be like the best in the world, but if people don't know you exist, right? So brand awareness. Then there was like what I called like thought leadership. Basically things that help me process and help me communicate, but are not necessarily like revenue driving, right? So like my blog, for example, it's it's a thought exercise. I'm not really making money from that, right? But that's okay. And then there was like a and then there was like a after the the thought leadership, which is like a fancy way of being like things that are important for your mental health but do not make you any money. Then I had like revenue driving activities, and that was like my journal business and all of the operations that came with that, all of the onboarding, finances, whatever. And then underneath in the revenue driving part, I had like basically a section for experiments because I think like what I don't have it all figured. I don't have like, a 10-step funnel system. I'm like, one thing is working pretty well. I have a bunch of other ideas of things that could work and could bring in significant revenue, and I'm gonna earmark those under experiments, right? And then finally, it was like business operations. So just everyday things like figuring out what insurance to get for the business depending on the level of risk, making sure that my cash flow position is good and positive, making sure that I'm setting aside money for taxes, like boring business legal operations type stuff. Okay. And then there was like one last category, which was like strategy. And that was just like continually popping my head above the water and being like, okay, but how does this all flow together? Is this like what do we think about the trends of the world and how that might impact the business and my like process? And then one of the things that I really want to say that I think could be really useful for you guys is like the one thing that I realized under strategy that was, I think, the most important was like manage your own mental state and like I basically wrote about loneliness and I was like, manage the open vastness of feeling sometimes empty and alone on this journey where there is no map and there is no guide and like keeping your shit together, basically. I was like, oh, that's strategy. That is like, that is it. That's just the strategy. It's not like, who do I network with or like, who do I fucking whatever. Like, it wasn't any of that. It was literally just like, don't lose your mind. Like, stay mentally strong, like, whatever it takes, like journaling, eating healthy food, making nourishing soups, working out, drinking green juice with ginger, like going to bed early, like that is my job. If I lose myself, like if I fall off, like everything doesn't work, you know? So literally the strategy was like make nourishing bone broth soup and don't lose your mind. Oh. Okay, Annie says, I saw that on LinkedIn today. I need to take a closer look and create my own. Yeah, Annie. It's just like so interesting to like, I say job description just because I feel like that's what like, people like understand, but it really is just like a list of stuff that you do. And even if it's like for your artistry or even if it's like for your own mental health, like think about all the things you do, just like listing it out and then like categorizing it is so helpful. Okay. Um, Yoli says, I'm early on my entrepreneurial journey and I'm currently going through a slow period. Business is booming some months, but now not so much. Any tips or advice or perspectives? Okay. So I definitely experienced this so I'll just share some perspective and then maybe some tips. Like I definitely experienced this when I was starting my coaching business. So when I was just coaching, there were like bust and boom times. Like I'm telling you, there were some months, particularly in the summer, where I would maybe make like $300. That was it. And other months like January, um, September, huge months. Like I don't know. At the time, I really wasn't making that much money. You can do the math, right? Because I was only charging like 150 a session, and then there's only so many sessions I could do. So, but people would buy in advance. People would buy packages in advance. So there could be some months where I was, making 5,000, 6,000. One month I made like 8,000. Like for a coach running their own, just like little coaching business, like that was a lot of money for me. So you kind of had to grapple with that. Like I think you probably don't wanna hear advice on, like, how to manage your cash, so that's not what I'm gonna talk about. I think it's more about in the months where you don't have a lot, how do you stay buoyant emotionally? Like, how do you not let it get to you and make you feel bad? Like, "Oh, nobody wants my stuff. Nobody wants to work with me. Oh, I'm just, like, here, like, toiling in obscurity," right? And I think the key is to like continue to do experiments and things that actually make you excited. Um, I think the joy of like being in that stage too is like you can try stuff and very quickly like learn what you like and learn what you don't, you know? So I don't know exactly, Yoli, what kind of business you're doing, but I would say like use the time to experiment. And then also like there's two things that you have to consider too, which is there's the lifestyle part of it, and then there's like the ego money part of it. Okay, so the lifestyle is like what amount of business is going to feel equal parts fulfilling and also restful for me? Because you also don't want to burn out, right? So like thinking about and try not to think about it just in money terms, but think about it in terms of like, okay, let's say you sell a product and there's a certain amount of operations that has to go behind selling the product. Okay. I'll use like my journals, for example. If I sell 20 a day, I'm like really happy. I'm like, it's it's that great balance of there's enough activity happening that I feel good. But it's not so much that I'm like standing there for hours on end, like packing journals. Okay. So just finding like what is that balance for you of a good kind of moderate pace for your business. And then I think okay, so that's kind of like the operations piece, but then the second piece which is like the money ego piece, right? Which is like how much money do I feel that I should be making, right? We all have that number in our head of like I just want to be able to make like X number of dollars a month, right? So coming up with like what is that number that I feel like I should be making? And then also questioning that and being like, is that a vanity number? Is that a real number? What is that number? And then how do I get there? Essentially. Um, I'm just reading your comment again. And I just think also, Yoli, it's about like looking at patterns, because I just like reading how your like business is booming some months. I think just like understanding, is it seasonal? Is it cyclical? What are the reasons for why business is booming? And then being honest with yourself and being like, okay, but is that something that I really want to replicate? Like maybe business was booming because you went to an event and you were able to get your name out there and then people are like buying it like crazy, or it's just because it's like the holidays are coming up and people want the product. Like, so just like questioning, because I think it's also something that we have to sustain our own energy because like when I think about my journal business, I'm like, when is that growing? Like that's growing for me when it's like when I've like posted a ton on social media. But it all comes at a cost, you know? And sometimes I just need to take a break. Like sometimes I cannot be like on TikTok. It like hurts my brain, So I think like well, also because every time I post on TikTok, like TikTok is like very addictive. And so then like in between posting on TikTok, I'll be watching TikTok and then I'll like look up and realize like an hour has gone by and I've just been scrolling and I'm like, this is not, you know? So I think like understanding what are the levers that you can control and then being thoughtful about like, are those levers that I want to control? Like, are those things that I want to do? Are those things that I can replicate? You know? Yeah. I hope that's helpful. Let me know. Let me know if that like makes sense or what. Mm. And he says, I'm just like reading it, Annie. I know it's like sort of weird, but I have to like read it too because when it gets played back, sometimes it doesn't show the comments. And then so people who are watching it are like, what is she talking about? So um Annie says, "I'm a freelancer going through." Oh, okay, sorry, okay. Annie says, "I'm a freelancer going through a dry s" for a second, I thought this was, like, Yoli following him. No, this is Annie. Okay, Annie says, "I am a freelancer going through a dry spell right now. I'm using the downtime for creative projects. Contracts come up unexpectedly, so I'm hopeful that this is just a temporary dip." Yeah, and I think also, like I think that's the beauty of being a freelancer too, right? Is that you kinda do get these ebbs and flows. And so when you do have a down moment, it sounds like you're taking advantage of it and that you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna, like, use this for my own creative stuff." Um, I think that's smart and that's good. I think and I talk about this a lot in my videos, right? But it's like the default shouldn't just be, "Let's make more money all the time." Like, I know that's, like, kinda what we're programmed to do, but it's like, I don't wanna do that. So thinking about actually like what's the life that you want and like what's important for you, I think just has to be like the main thing. So Yoli says that is helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm just gonna drink some water. I think also like going back to the job description thing, it's like the thing that it made me realize too is I have a lot already going on. And sometimes when you're like hyper focused on like one area of the business, you start to think like, oh, there I have to be adding like more. Like I have to be trying more, or like, is there a new format or is there a new business adjacency or something that I can like add to this to like make it more powerful or like make it work better. And it's like you forget that there's like all these other moving parts that you're just like not seeing on that day in your business. And so, like, there was this moment where I was like, "Oh, maybe I should," because 'cause I'm trying to, like, follow my own creativity and my own, like, joy, right? And I'm, like, food obsessed, and I always think about, like, maybe one day I could have a restaurant or, like, maybe one day I could have, like, a food truck, and I don't think this is an accident. So I was thinking about, like, how, like, there's, like, a local farmer's market, and I was like, "Maybe I should just, like, apply to, like, sell stuff at the farmer's market, and I could sell my journals, funny, but then I could also can you imagine going to a farmer's market and being like, "We are selling a 'Should I Quit My Job' workbook?" Like, that's so random. I just think it would be funny, and then I could, like, sell the journals, and then I could also sell I was thinking of doing, like, Asian bakery, so I could do, like, Chinese hot dog buns or, like, Chinese pastries, and, like, I was like, there's no one doing that where I live, and plus I love a Chinese pastry. So I literally, like, went off this whole tangent. I was like, "Maybe I need to be doing that." And then I was like, I wrote my job description. I was like, "I actually I actually cannot add hot dog baker to this list." Like, I just can't do it. Like, there's already so much stuff going on. Like, I can't. Um Oh, hi, Leanne. Oh my gosh, your first live. Yay. Oh my gosh, Leanne, your content is recommended to me all the time. All your shorts, I think you're taking a break on the shorts if I remember correctly, but I see it all the time. Um, because I subscribe to your channel. So now I get all your stuff. I love it. Oh, it's so good. I love watching it. Thank you. Um, but yeah, guys, I was like, okay, I just don't think that like next to business strategy and next to like financial operations, I'm gonna add hot dog vendor to this. Like I don't know. So I had to kind of like check myself. And I'm crazy. I'm crazy. So like I could see myself still doing it. And just for the fun of it. And also because like, so we live on this farm now. And in order to um there's like a tax credit that you can get if you live on a farm and if you sell a certain amount of your farm produce or goods, and so it actually, like, doing farmer's market does make sense because I can then, like, sell lavender, I could sell honey, like, there's a lot of things I could sell. So it's not crazy, but it does seem crazy. It does seem crazy to add hot dog, high priestess of the hot dog to my oh my god, what if the name of my thing was high priestess hot dog? That actually makes no sense. It should be something Chinese so that people know that they're getting Asian bakery. Kuan Yin hot dog. So stupid. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, if you have questions, type it into the chat. I'm only gonna stay on for probably 10 more minutes because I have, my sister-in-law is the best person in the world. We're, like, really good friends. We've obviously been besties for 20 plus years now. Um, and we have a monthly, like, Zoom call, and that's happening in 20 minutes. So I'm only gonna be on here for 10 more minutes. So if you have a question, please put it into the chat, and I can try and answer it. I can probably take, like, one more question. But yeah, so we have, like, a standing Zoom chat, and all we do is we just, like, laugh, and then like, I'm gonna see her for Christmas, so sometimes we'll just talk about, like, "Oh, what are the Christmas plans?" and just, "How are the kids doing?" and all of that stuff, but it's really nice. Okay. Um, so Alexandra asks, "Hi, can you tell us how many books you read per month, and how do you find time for that?" Um I'm not a huge reader at all. I probably read, like, maybe 3 new books a month. Um, I have a lot of pockets, so I usually read it on my Kindle because I can bring that with me and I can bring it on my phone. I also you know what I am, is I'm an audiobook person. I'm an audiobook because I drive a lot. 'Cause my kids are in gymnastics, there's a lot of activities, so I'm always driving to pick a kid up, so I always have these little 15-minute solo drives here and there, and so I do subscribe to Audible, not sponsored. um, I do subscribe to Audible, it's like 100 something a year, but then you can get, I think, like, 12 books, and I just, like, download them, so I download a lot of self-help audiobooks that I listen to in the car. Um, and then other than that, like, something I've been trying to do lately is, like, instead of scrolling on social media, I will read a book. Um, and then if it's a good book, like, you just find the time because it's, like, engrossing and there's nothing else you want to do. Um, so I think I talked about this maybe in another live or, like, a video or something, but I just started reading, Sally Rooney's Intermezzo, and started that, couldn't put it down for, like, 40 minutes, and you know, I just think it's enjoyable, like, I love the world building aspect of it, I love a self-help book, but I don't keep track, I don't know, I just do it because I like it. Um, I know people who have, like, in their bullet journals, they'll write, like, they'll have, like oh, actually, hold on. I do have in my bullet journal, I started a list of what I'm reading, let me see. It's called Books I've Read. I don't think I even have very much written down. Oh. No, like, literally, look, there's 2 books I've read. Books I read 2025, there's 2 books on here. So, in October I mean, I need to update this, but it's like in October, I read Ritual by Malidoma Somé. It's an awesome book. So, he's like a shamanic healer, background is from West Africa, but then Western educated, and he wrote about, like, the ritual of death and dying and, like, how to and that's, like, very readable. I cannot read a boring book, okay? I can't read a boring book, so that one is, like, very gripping. It's called Ritual by Malidoma Somé, Some. Okay. And then the other one and I'm including, so in this list, I'm including, like, audiobooks in here because 'cause I'm like, "That counts, that counts." And so the last audiobook I listened to was The Late Bloomer by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who you know her because she wrote Women Who Run with the Wolves. Um, does it count too to have like I have a lot of reference books. So I cookbooks, I'm always like reading a cookbook or like gardening books. Like I'm literally looking up like, okay, it's winter now. So is there any winter plants that I should be planting? Um, whatever. Most nights I'm so tired. I literally like get in bed, read 3 pages, and then like pass out. So says, "Oh my god, I can't believe I caught you live." "Oh, I'm here. I'm here." I'm trying to do it like more often. Um, and I'm not ready yet to like be like live every Monday at whatever because like I said, I am literally considering becoming a hot dog vendor. So there's just a lot going on in my life right now. So I'm not trying to like I only want to commit to things that I can really commit to. So I'm more just like popping on here and I know that's annoying cuz if there was someone that I watched and then they're just like, "I'm just going to come when I want to." I'd be like, "Bitch, can you just plan it?" But I really just can't right now. But I am trying to do it like once a week on YouTube just to it's for my own nerves, guys. I'm just trying to build up the muscle. I'm trying to build up the skill to get more comfortable to yap in front of a computer by myself. And like sometimes you get on these lives and there's like 100 questions coming at you all at once, and you're like, like trying to answer it. And then other times it's like one person. And you're like, hey. So I'm just trying to build the muscle. I already feel like I'm getting better at it because like I used to be way more awkward and like I used to sweat a lot more like during these lives. I think it's just like overwhelming, you know? You feel like you're kind of like hosting a party and that you have to be like, "Do you have a drink? What do you need? Like, can I take your coat?" Like I just kind of feel like that. But now I'm like more relaxed and like even like I've been doing more lives on TikTok. So if you follow me on there, like you can probably see me more on there. But way more comfortable. And I honestly think it's because of like YouTube and making long form content. I'm just like, oh, I'm used to like yapping by myself for a really long time. Like it's awesome. Oh, Leanne says you're living my dream life. Swear, whatever. You're living my. Wait, do you have 3 children, or am I making that up? Okay, sorry. That's like awkward for me to ask you on the live. I just remember somewhere commenting like you also have children, and I'm like, how are you doing all of that? I have 2 children, but I feel like 2 children is different from 3 children or 4 children. So just saying. Okay. Annie says audiobooks absolutely count. Smiley face, smiley face. Yeah, I think they count. I actually feel like because I'm an auditory learner, I'm like okay, here's the thing with me, if you're my friend and we're having a conversation, I will remember every word you ever said and then I will repeat it back to you. That's the kind of memory I have. I'm not like a visual, like I'm not like a, oh, I remember the color of the dress. No, I'm a like I remember word for word. I'm a words auditory person. Like, I was just talking to my best friend Wendy the other day. We'd, like, gone to Hong Kong together, and then I was like, "Yeah," like, when you said in the hotel room, then I, like, quoted her back verbatim, and she was like, "What?" Creepy. I was like, "I just remember everything." So, when it comes to audiobooks, I think that's why I like it so much. Um, 10 year to 3 yeah, okay. So good, I'm not crazy. Um, sorry to put you on the spot like that. But so, basically, like, I forgot what I was saying. I was thinking about like privacy and the internet and children and how I really shouldn't talk about that. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to hop off now because like I said, I have to go get ready for my chat with my sister-in-law. But I love you guys and thank you. And I try to live what I preach. So I talk a lot about like showing up. I talk a lot about like doing things that make you uncomfortable to like build the muscle and like that's honestly what I'm trying to do on these YouTube lives. I'm like if I can do YouTube live, I think I can do anything, honestly. Highly recommend if you guys are a small business owner, creator, like start practicing those muscles. I think they come in really handy. Okay. Thank you guys. It's so good to see you guys. And thank you for also if you are a member of my YouTube channel, thank you for that. And I will see you guys soon. Okay. Take care. Bye. End stream.